Revolutionary greetings, comrades. We are here to take your general questions on Zimbabwe exemption permits. We are also briefly discussing the Zimbabwean elections, which are a few days away, and we will be discussing in brief. We'll not go into detail. We'll do so on Sunday, the Red Sunday, the coups in West Africa. Maybe let me start by discussing the Zimbabwe exemption permits as you type your questions. I am Ngabuto Nicholas Mabena. Uh, we are pleased to announce that most people that we have been assisting, some of them are beginning to get their waiver outcome. Those that applied in 2022, the Home Affairs Department did assure us that they are attending to that because we're saying to them, in our view, it becomes unfair for someone to have applied in January 2022, more than a year and 7 months or so, but up to now they have not received anything. But someone that applied 4 months ago has received. Because some people were beginning to think that maybe those that applied in 2022 were rejected. But we are happy that some people are beginning to receive their outcome, and they are sharing that with us. So we will continue sending your details to them. But even if we do not send your details, I think they are now looking into those people that applied in 2022 so that people get assisted. We want a situation where every applicant receive their outcome, so that people can then move to other visas. Even if it's a negative outcome, it's important that you are informed about your outcome so that you can plan ahead. As you know, that is some few months left before the grace period expires, but also there's a ongoing court case. So it's important that if the department rejected your outcome, you need to be informed about that decision. So you can write your questions, then we're able to assist where possible. Zimbabwe is going to elections in about 3 weeks' time. We have been talking about the court case in Bulawayo. We've been looking into the campaigns. People are divided because we said that this is a contest between ZANU-PF and Triple C. So we've been seeing these two major political movements holding massive rallies. Someone was saying when ZANU-PF held its rally in Bulawayo Country Park, someone was then saying, Country Park residents have arrived with the buses, and someone was saying there are about 600 buses. Then there's this thing that is circulating on social media, some form of a quiz to say who's the president who goes around with the same crowd addressing them in different venues and in different delivering a different message. So you say they transport people from one venue to the other, but we win. Critic is this why they are doing that, because they are not just doing that for fun, or that yeah, they are not just doing that for fun. It's a political statement, because what they are trying to do is that when they are declared the winners, they will say, you have seen our rallies, they were massive. So that's the whole idea behind busing people to rally, so that you appear to be addressing crowds, even though they are not the local people that you Comrade Ganya Nimax writes, he says, Mr. Mabena, don't mislead the people, don't mix visitors and the ZEP holders. Sometimes you need to play videos or audios from the minister. The minister didn't talk of ZEP holders about deportation. ZEP holders are waiting for their waiver application to those who have applied, don't mislead people, Mr. Mapena. What is clear from Comrade Kanya is that he did not listen. He just saw the headline and didn't realize the punctuation. He then did not play the video because the video says ZEP, comma, deportations. So he didn't see the punctuation and he doesn't understand what a comma stands for. So he thinks that I've said ZEP deportations, which is not the case. That's why there's a punctuation there. And it's clear from the comment that he made that he did not listen to my to my video. But just to assist the comrade, I said the minister talk about deportations, about 15 to 20,000 per annum, and these people are deported to different countries. I even said the minister says this is a very expensive exercise because if you are deporting someone to Ethiopia, to DRC, government has to charter a flight for them. I then said it is different from us in Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Eswatini, Lesotho, that were just transported to our borders. They just leave us there. If I'm deported to Zimbabwe, they just leave me at a bed bridge. So it's clear that the comrade did not really listen to my video. Comrade Nduduzo Ndutumzuge, you said, I said, Dr. Thanks. He's not Dr. Tabane, Professor Tabane. No, thanks for the correction. Comrade Previous Net says, thanks, Mapena, for update. But Mr. Mapena, some people don't understand English. I think sometimes we must talk on English in the Shona, if it's possible. Thanks. Firstly, yourself, Comrade Previous Nyati, you understand English because you wrote in English. So I'm not sure if you are now representing a particular constituency that has come to you to say they don't understand what I'm communicating through this YouTube channel using English language. But I'm glad that yourself you do understand what I'm saying. But you then go on to say some people, meaning it is not you. And the fact that you communicated in English, it means you do understand what we are saying. And unfortunately, comrades, I do not. I'm not fluent I'm in the Shona language. That's my problem. I'm not fluent in the Shona language. I'm fluent in Isindebele. I speak Isindebele. I hear when comrades speak in Shona. I listen to Shona audios because I can hear them. But I've difficult in communicating in Shona language. So yeah, because I know that some on TikTok were saying, why should I not? Why do I always speak in English, not in Isindebele? I posted on Facebook the breakdown of the people that visited my YouTube channel in the last 28 days. You have people all over the world that visit my channel. We have people, for instance, I work for the African Diaspora Forum. African Diaspora Forum is home to migrants from different countries. They follow this YouTube channel. So you can imagine my comrade from Kenya, who's a member of the African Diaspora Forum, wants to follow this YouTube channel. And here I am speaking in Shona and Isindebele. It will not happen well. It will not occur well to some comrades. And Mapena, you didn't finish quoting Nomvula Mokonyane. You quoted what favors you. You like to assume, Mapena. That's not correct because we discussed what Comrade Nomvula Mokonyane said. The video that I posted yesterday was not about responding to what Comrade Nomvula Mokonyane had said, because we discussed that the Freedom Charter is very clear that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, black and white. That's what it says, the Freedom Charter. But Comrade Nomvula Mokonyane then was of the view that there is need to revisit that because she had said in the interview that at the time people were naive to think that South Africa belongs to all who live in it. But the minister put it into context in the interview with the Professor J.J. Taban that at the time the Freedom Charter was written, it was during apartheid, during segregation, where black people, South Africans for that matter, were not considered as the South Africans. People were placed in homelands and so forth. You needed to get a pass to visit cities. So the minister was explaining that. No, thanks, Comrade Morrison Dube, Comrade Colin Tigere. Thanks for your comments. Then there's Comrade, I've lost it, that point comment that I wanted to read. Let's then briefly look into West Africa. Coups have been happening in West Africa. You will remember that we spent some bit of time in 2022 when we're talking about French imperialism, particularly in Central and the West Africa. We had said in some of the videos which are here on this YouTube channel that some countries, for instance, Ivory Coast, it is alleged that the the presidential villa is standing on French soil. This is Ivory Coast. So the government of Ivory Coast pays France rent for their state house because they claim that the land where the presidential palace was built, that land belongs to France. How can France own a land in Africa where the presidential palace stands and they say it is their land and the government of Ivory Coast should be paying? We did talk about some countries in West and Central Africa that if they want to enter into military alliance with any country, they must first get permission from France. If they pass their budgets, firstly they must get permission from France. That is what Kwame Nkrumah characterized as a neo-colonial state. The coups that we are seeing, and we have said when we're analyzing these coups in Mali that some coups are progressive, some are reactionary. and there's a tendency for comrades to compare the coups in West Africa with our own in 2017. But what comrades are missing is that the coup, or what we refer to as the Bond coup in Zimbabwe in 2017, was led by the generals. If you like, your military elite led that coup. And the coups that are happening in Mali and now in Niger, they are led by your rank and file, your junior soldiers that are leading. It is not the army generals that are leading these coups. And just imagine if in Zimbabwe it was junior soldiers that would have led the coup in 2017. They were going to take power themselves, as is the case in West Africa. But because in Zimbabwe, the coup was led by the generals. And you remember in one rally, when President Mnangagwa was still deputy president, he had paraded Chiwenga when he was general of the army, saying he was the commissar of ZANU-PF. So you take the whole commander of the defense forces, not even commander, the general of the armed forces in Zimbabwe, and to say is a commissar of a political party. This is what President Emerson Mnangagwa had said when he was deputy president in one ZANU-PF rally. And it was then Chiwenga that then led the coup. It was not a colonel in the army in Zimbabwe. It was not a captain. We have seen progressive coups. Thomas Sankara stands out as one person who led the progressive coup. He was not an army general, Comrade Thomas Sankara. So Mama Gaddafi as well, brother leader, was not an army general. He was a colonel. He was junior in the ranking, in the military ranking. So then you find comrades writing on social media to say, in Nigeria, they are celebrating a coup. Why not share notes with what happens to us in Zimbabwe? That coup in Nigeria and the rest of West Africa, they are different from our own Bond coup. Yeah, and of course, we're opposed to what ECOWAS is now trying to do because ECOWAS is just an imperialist, they are puppets of the imperialist forces. And what the progressive coup is saying, which is missing as I'm concluding, is that the ECOWAS, SADC, the African Union, they keep quiet and they hide behind sovereignty when political leaders amend their constitutions, right, to stay in power. It's a constitutional coup. They don't talk about that. They will say, no, sovereignty does not allow us. Look at Rwanda, right? President Kagame has been in power since 1994. How many terms? No one talks about it. Paul Biya, who's busy committing a genocide against the people of Southern Cameroons, or he has been in power ever since 1981 or so. He runs Cameroon from Europe. He doesn't even stay in Cameroon, but he runs it from Europe. And there's nothing wrong. If junior soldiers were to take power in Cameroon, then you'll hear the regional body, the continental body, UN, the United States, all threatening to say, no, 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 you must return to civilian rule. So, but we'll discuss this in detail in our Red Sunday so that we have a better understanding of these coups. Because the comrades think that power should only be obtained through an election. But if the political leadership is using a key state apparatus like parliament to amend laws and make it difficult for people to participate in a free and a fair election, when the soldiers in the barracks are suffering and they are sent to butcher the working class and the peasant, when they then confront the system, as is the case in West Africa, and they denounce imperialism, we expect that the communists must give them solidarity. There's no way that you can claim to be a communist and they condemn those that are denouncing imperialism. But like I'm saying, we're going to explain. Comrade JM, my WhatsApp number is 083, Chief. Maybe you're out of South Africa, +27 if you're out of South Africa. But I'll simply write here my WhatsApp number, 083 You can WhatsApp me. I have so many messages. I must admit, and my team it's begging to clear those messages. We are still submitting the database as we promised. As I started by saying that many of those that gave us their details, they are beginning. Some of them are beginning to get their outcome, and the Department of Home Affairs has promised us that they are doing that. Thanks so much. Thanks so much, comrades. Have a great weekend. We love you. We will continue to engage. There was, of course, a statement I saw on social media, and we did say in one video, there were promises for buses. Some were circulating messages saying 500 buses have been paid for. Our only advice, if you are a registered voter in the Zimbabwean election, please budget your own money and go and cast your vote. Do not be disappointed in the last minute when you are told that there is no bus to take you to Zimbabwe. So just budget now, travel to Zimbabwe, cast your vote. Please like this video, circulate, and kindly subscribe to this YouTube channel. Amandla, comrades.